Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the World Elite Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Abear, and joining me, as always, my tag team partner, the second half of the World Elite Dynamic Duo. It's Jordan. Jordan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Ready to kill it again, and this time we got you about to say his name.
Absolutely. And speaking of his name, it seems pretty lucky that we're getting this guy on our show, because if you see him, you see him every single night on Circle of Debate. He is the Redeemer. Justin, what is good, brother? How you doing?
Oh my goodness, it feels so good to be back. Like I said, it's been so long since I've been with you guys here. So man, it feels good to be back.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. It feels like it's been an eternity since you've been back on the show. So
right? Like I don't even remember like legitimately last time.
Man, I would be lying if I told you, bro, because before we took this break, before the new era started and whatnot, before we were doing a few shows, and I remember I took a long time off because me and my wife were in the process of buying this house, and I was gone for a long time. And I think maybe you joined like, I don't know, one or two times, but even before that, it was a long time before then. So right. Yeah, man, it's been quite some time, that's for sure.
Like honestly, I think that, like, if I can remember correctly, I think it was like sometime during like WrestleMania. Honestly, like it was like predictions for that or something like that. It's been that long.
It has, man. But no, before we get to our topics, first of all, Justin, I want to thank you in particular, dude, because before we came back, Jordan and I came back, you were a big advocate for this show. And, you know, every time me and Jordan commented on COD, you know, you always, you know, advertise when we're coming back. You always, you know, talked real good about Jordan and I, you know, along with Dom, Ive, and the rest of the people over there at COD. So I really want to thank you in particular for really being a big supporter of the show.
I mean, you've seen how many different shows that I will advocate for. Like, there's so many people out there, and like you guys have always been basically like the upper part. Like you guys, like I said, I consider you guys like family. You guys are like brothers. And we, like I said, you guys, when you guys said you were coming back, the first thing I did was like, I have to plug this. I have to keep plugging this. I have to get this out there. World Elite is coming back, revamped, refreshed, ready to kick ass. And that's what I had to do for you guys. Cause you know, like I said, you guys are family basically.
Yeah, man. Well, once again, we do appreciate everything, man. You know, it does mean the world that, you know, that you, along with others, you know, really advocated for us to come back. And honestly, I think that's something that really helped, you know, really motivate us to come back, because once we took our break, there were times where I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this break's going to be permanent. You know, maybe it's something I don't want to do no more, something like that. But, you know, the support from you along with everyone else, I think has really helped us come back and to motivate us to keep it going every single Monday, you know, because once we're done, we always tune into you guys. You know, we always support the ones that support us. And, you know, COD is one of our biggest supporters. So the rest of the guys over there as well, we do appreciate. But yeah, so let's hop to the first topic while we're at it, you know. And something I didn't watch over the weekend, Jordan and I were in Houston, so we didn't watch it live. I know Jordan since then has watched it, just I know watched it live, but I basically relied on people, you know, giving me info. Like my brother was over here watching my dog, who I'm currently holding right now, who's being an angel right now, but she's going to be a demon the moment my wife gets back from work. But Yeah, so he was watching her. He was feeding me info. He was spoiling the show, but I really didn't care. It was Backlash. It's not like it's the Rumble or WrestleMania or anything like that. So I really didn't care. She wants to get down. Okay, so all right, so I mainly relied, like I said, on seeing stuff on the internet, seeing the highlights after the show. I did go back on Peacock and watch a few things here and there, like the Jeff Cobb debut. Um, I wanted to see Dominic Mysterio's entrance in particular because they said he got a really big pop from the crowd. So I wanted to see that as well because this guy has gotten super over. So I guess I'll go first on my take from the show. First of all, the results from the show was only 5 matches. Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre to retain the United States champion with the help, like I said, of Jeff Cobb. We'll talk about that in a sec. Lyra Valkyria defeated Becky Lynch to retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio defeated Penta to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther defeated Pat McAfee, and John Cena defeated Randy Orton to retain the undisputed WWE Championship. Like I said, I'll go first on my take because I didn't watch the show, so I feel like I have the least amount to offer on all of this. But for one, Jeff Cobb, I did not expect him to debut at this show at all. Because I was looking at the card, I'm like, okay, what's the purpose for him debuting tonight? Like, there's not a match on this card that I can see him debuting during. And now that he debuted during Jacob Fatu's match, it makes a lot of sense because if you're going to get Jacob Fatu away from the bloodline, be on his own, one day maybe turn on solo, then I think that Jeff Cobb could be the perfect, almost replacement into the bloodline. Kind of like that enforcer, kind of like how Solo was with Roman. He was that enforcer, and I feel like that Jeff Cobb is like that perfect role for that. So I think they debuted him in a good way. Lyra, that one really surprised me. I did not expect her to win by any means. I know a lot of people picked Becky. I thought Becky was going to put her over. She was going to put herself over, because since SummerSlam a few years ago when she came back and she took down Bianca in seconds, that told me right there she's going to put herself over no matter what. And I thought this was going to be the perfect opportunity to put herself over to win another championship from Lyra, but that really surprised me. Same thing with Dominic. It was his first defense on a PLE, and he beat Penta. Yeah, he got help, Judgment Day, and even Chad Gable. But I mean, I think Penta's going to win it at some point. It was Dom's first PLE defense. I didn't see any reason for him to lose it by any means. He's super over with the crowd as well. So I think the crowd would have been booing the entire night if Dom would have lost. I think that's how over he is right now. With Gunther and Pat McAfee, I think from people who did not see Pat McAfee's work in NXT, I think they were maybe a little surprised with how well he did against Gunther. Gunther still beat the shit out of him, but it was very impressive to see how well Pat McAfee did. Yeah, he botched here and there. He's not a wrestler, though. He is a commentator. He's a former football player. So, yeah, there's going to be little trips up here and there, but it was still, from what I've seen, it was pretty decent overall. And then the main event, it was as expected as you can get. John Cena is not going to lose his first defense with the championship. It doesn't matter if Randy Orton's in his hometown, but I think it was a little cool touch how they did towards the end where Randy Orton's RKOing everybody. He got Nick Aldis again, and even the cool touch of R-Truth coming in to help his childhood hero and John Cena. That was pretty cool as well. And the thing is, Randy Orton didn't want to do it at all, but he still had to do it so he could try to get to Cena, and Cena still capitalized on all of that and ended up winning. And it seems like now we're getting Cena Truth at Saturday night's main event with the AA through the table during the press conference and whatnot. So, I mean, overall, it seemed like an okay show. So will I go back and watch it? Probably not. But from what I've seen, it was an okay show. Wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. As of an overall scale, 1 to 10, probably a 7.5. I think that's probably a fair score from someone who hasn't watched the show. But from what I've seen, it wasn't terrible. So, Justin, you can go next, man.
So yeah, basically for me, Backlash felt very throwaway. It felt very throwaway because we literally had 2 weeks to build up this show straight out of WrestleMania, and it felt just like this came off as we just had to give you a show because we had this scheduled. So this is what we gave you. And honestly, to me, it felt like a letdown. It felt like a very like disappointing-esque show overall. Like the beginning, like the opener with the Fatal 4-Way for the US title was awesome. I enjoyed it. Jeff Cobb showing up. I just loved that. Like I did not expect Cobb to show up tonight, like that night. It was literally just, I thought we were going to wait. It was going to happen on a SmackDown, just to try to make SmackDown a little bit better. But then it happened at Backlash. And now we got, Fatu looking so conflicted. Like, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want you to bring somebody else in when it's been us the whole time. Now you got somebody else here. Like, Solo, you're doing some shady stuff right now. So you could see it on his face. He was very conflicted by that. But I love that. I thought it was an awesome opener. And then, honestly, like Lyra and Becky, I thought they had an awesome matchup. I genuinely thought Becky Lynch was going to win it because I figured we were going to do the Bianca Belair thing. I thought we were going to actually have Bianca, like we we're going to have like Lyra lose the championship and then Becky have her chase and then would help Lyra get over more because Lyra, yes, people love Lyra Valkyria, but when they see her, she still kind of gets these very dry reactions from people. Like you hear the crowd and it's just kind of like, yeah, there's Lyra. Like they'll do the woo thing in her entrance and everything. They think they really like her, but it's like during her matches, they just seem kind of iffy about her. But it's like it's like later in the matches, you start to hear the crowd get behind her and they start really liking her. But this is like one of those situations where I thought Becky would win, Lyra would chase, it would get people behind her more. And then it would result in Lyra getting the championship back, which I looked at that and I was like, okay, that could be a good story because look how well it worked for Bianca. It could work for Lyra in the long run. So I got excited for that. But honestly, when Lyra won, I was genuinely shocked because it just felt like we're not done with this. So why did Lyra have to win the first one? Why didn't Becky just win the first one? And we go from there. But we'll find out going on down the road. Dom and Penta, I thought was actually solid. It just to me, I thought we were going to get a title change here, honestly, because Dom has basically beaten Penta to the every single time so far, even with help. You would figure this is the time Penta's going to get it, but he did not get it. So I feel like they just did the interference to kind of keep it to where, Penta, you guys don't have to worry about Penta. He's going to come back. He can still challenge for the Intercontinental title down the road. So I didn't see it as too much of a bad thing. The Gunther and Pat. Now, I thought it was amazing. I enjoyed the matchup as a whole. To me, I will say it is probably the weakest showing from Pat McAfee because we've seen him do it in War Games in NXT. We've seen the Adam Cole matchup. We've seen the Austin Theory matchup. And it just by watching it, it's the weakest performance, but it's a fantastic performance by Pat because they gave him the hope spots. Gunther showed out with him. Like it was so good to watch Pat. Like, yes, like you said before, he's not a wrestler. He's a former football player. He's a commentator. And the only reason why, yes, that he did botch a few times, but again, he's not in the ring every night like everybody else is. So you can expect that from him. But I thought it was a great thing that involving Michael Cole and everything else. And I love that. That was probably my match of the night for the entire thing. And Cena and Orton, honestly, I will say ruled. I loved the matchup. But for me, R-Truth ruined it, in my honest opinion. Truth killed it for me because it was so exciting. There's the anticipation. The crowd was losing it for the hometown guy and Randy. And all the RKOs, I love that sequence of just the RKO on Aldis and all the other producers getting it at the same time. Just there were so many during that matchup. It's like Truth felt like it killed the entire vibe of the matchup because it's just like, really? Truth. I get it. He's your childhood hero. And we've been hearing all this stuff. And it's just like, he's so dedicated to being like, you guys saying Cena sucks and everything else, and he can't wrestle and everything. And it's like, he'll defend him to hell and high water. And then here he came out in the middle of the match and it just felt like it just grind the match to a stop. And I'm like, oh God, Truth, why? Why'd you have to do that? But again, I expected Cena. I expected Cena to retain in the long run. And just overall, I thought the match was great. I just wish that one moment wasn't there. But for me, overall, the show just did not feel like it had anything to it. It just felt like a show we had to give you because we had it scheduled. And because they had did so little to build it, like literally the only built thing in this entire show to me was Gunther and Pat. Cena and Orton was pretty good, like had a good build overall, but it just basically was promos. There was nothing else to it. So just for me, I think I gave it like a middle of the road. I think I hit like a 5 out of 10 because we usually grade pay-per-views out of 10, but I gave it like a middle of the road because it just felt so all right, but not okay, not good at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of think if I would have watched the show, maybe I would have gave it a lower score because, just like you said, it's kind of a filler show. It's kind of something they didn't have much build for. Becky and Lyra didn't have crazy big build for it because she had just turned on her and now she got this match from her. She kind of, and it makes me wonder still with Bayley. They took a spot away from her at Mania to hand it to Becky. They won the titles, lost it the next night. And then it goes to her turning, and then she gets a match all of a sudden with Lyra. And yeah, Lyra isn't super over. Yes, she has the crowd, going along with her theme and whatnot, but I don't see her as a super over wrestler by any means. And I thought they were going to pull the title off of her, because Becky, being it, and it doesn't matter, Becky, she does at times put herself over, and I thought that this was a perfect time to put herself over because I think that Women's Intercontinental Championship needs something, and it's not Lyra. So I thought Becky is exactly what that title needed, and that really took me by surprise whenever she lost. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and to agree with you before I let Jordan go, I feel like the only built thing from this show was, like you said, Gunther and Pat McAfee. And that's the crazy part about it. That's the only thing that was well built was this because Randy and Cena, it was all promos and it all ended with Cena laying in the ring the exact same way every single time. I mean, they got the pictures all put together of him laying the exact same way after every RKO. It's nuts. But yeah, like I said, maybe if I watched the show, maybe I would give it a lower score. But I guess seeing what other people are saying, maybe it didn't seem that bad at the time. But yeah, and maybe it was worse than what I thought. So, go ahead, Jordan.
I think so. Jackie Fatu and them, that was like I think was a good match to start it off. And with Jeff Cobb, I didn't know who that was at first till I asked Dylan. So no, it was a great match. So we might get Fatu and maybe Jeff Cobb.
Can't wait.
I mean, that's what Bakley was saying also. He was like, give me Cobb and Fatu. I'm all for that. Give me that match. I'm here for that.
Neat.
And then with Becky and Valkyria, I picked Valkyria to win.
Yeah, you caught me by surprise picking that one, man. When you picked Lyra, I said this dude's either crazy or he's up to something.
I remember seeing that with your prediction, and I was like, "Oh my god, Jordan's going risky here." He's saying Lyra.
That caught me. I was surprised.
So, that was a good match. Dominic and Penta, it was good. Penta done be a champion one day. I would take it from him one day. Gunther and Pat McAfee, that was Pat McAfee can fight. And then John Cena and Randy Orton, that was a good match with him or Kano, everybody. That was pretty cool to see. So I'll give the show. I'm gonna go a 7.5 too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not a show that I'll go back and watch. I'll basically just rely on everyone else's stuff and see what the next show brings us. I know they also announced that another show is going to Saudi. Unfortunately, Night of Champions. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about the Saudi Arabia shows, but from what we know, it's all money, and if they keep throwing money, it's going to keep happening. So it doesn't matter what we say; it's going to keep happening.
Sure.
So something I wanted to talk about last Monday before we unfortunately had to cancel. By the way, I want to apologize to our audience for canceling last week. I was under the weather, and Jordan and I were going to do a prediction video right after. I had a minor injury at work as well on the next day, so I was pretty much on the shelf for the entire week. So I figured, we went from a live stream to a video to a graphic, so we kind of like really dumbed ourselves down right there. So I feel like, as long as we got something out, it really don't matter what it is. Like I said, it's not Mania, it's not the Rumble, it's not SummerSlam, nothing like that. It's just Backlash. So if we don't do a video, I don't think it really matters. But something I wanted to talk about last Monday was the Friday before we got a slew of releases. And I'm not going to read the entire list. It's way too big. And some people that I don't matter, honestly. People like Braun Strowman, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Gigi Dolan, Jakara Jackson, Gallus, Caden Carter, Katana Chance, Shotzi, Shayna Baszler, and other names. I mean, some of these names really caught me by surprise. I know a lot of the reasons why were like maybe some with age. I know Dakota, they saying, oh, you can bring Jeff Cobbs, who's in his 40s, but you release her if she's like 30 something years old. She has paper knees. I mean, there's a reason why I think you're letting people like this go, but since I went first on the pay-per-view, Justin, I'll let you go first on these releases. I know you probably have given your thoughts on other things, but not on here. So I want to hear what you got.
Yeah, like this was shocking at the time because we were seeing this live during SmackDown. And we had to basically tell the chat during the entire time was like, we're not going to talk about this. We're saving it because we were going to talk about it basically during the flagship show, which it was like, here's the thing. We get people on social media all the time when these things happen. I used to be one of those people that when I seen this stuff happening on social media, I would sit there and I would go, well, why the hell would you do this? Why would you do this right now? Especially when, most of it was a lot of women. There was a lot of women involved in this, like NXT, like main roster together. And it started to just come down to, you literally just introduced mid-card championships. NXT has a mid-card championship. Why are these women not involved in those scenes right now when literally, yes, most of them were, two of them were like a tag team and literally Caden and Katana. Like, why have they never been used when you literally try to shove these women's tag team titles in our faces all the time and go, remember, we have these. Like, at this point, they need to just suck it up and get rid of them tag team titles because the division does not exist at this point from here on out. You literally had Becky and Lyra together. You broke them up. Every time you just throw together a random tag team, it only lasts for a little bit. Your current champions that you literally took all the time to take the titles off of them at WrestleMania to put it back on them the next night are literally not on television because one and a half of them is out filming a movie right now. Like, why? Tell me that you don't care about this division without physically telling me you don't care about this division at this point.
Right.
Those titles need to go. Focus on the singles, women's mid-card, and main championships at that point and go from there. Because normally, look at all through the years, women's tag teams, like tag team wrestling has not been a thing, like a main focus. It's just been a thing that occasionally happens when two feuds are happening. They throw them together and say, go face each other and merge your feuds together at some point. That's about it. It always feels just so forced and it's not necessary when the tag team titles don't really mean anything. But like NXT, a lot of these people were not being used. A lot of these people, like sadly Cora and Dakota, they kind of come off injury prone. And I understand you look at that and you kind of go, okay, maybe we kind of, we're not going to really keep you on the roster if we're going to be concerned if the next time you go in there, you're going to get hurt. You never know. Like that's one of the main reasons why, as much as everybody wanted Dakota to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship when it first got introduced, do you really take the chance? Because how many times has Dakota gone down with an injury? So many times. Like, how bad would it be when you strap that championship on her and then immediately she gets hurt and then you got to revamp everything and try to figure out who you're going to put it on next. Like they went with the safe route with Lyra, and I thought that was a smart idea. But I wish Dakota. I really like Dakota, and I don't want to just say she's just settle into she's injury prone thing. I hate saying that every time because I really like her, but she just keeps coming off injured all the time. Braun Strowman was a shocker to me. Like the guy literally came in and he's basically like, look at what he did when he came back. He put over Bronson Reed. He put over Jacob Fatu. He was doing amazing work. And then all of a sudden he was just gone. And I don't know what the main reason of him, like people were saying that it's salary of like what he was getting paid. There was just some crazy stuff that was being said about like the thing was they were all like most of them. Strowman was really the shocking one to me. Everybody else really was kind of not that surprising because most of them were not being used or they had not been on TV yet. Or just, we were hearing the excuse of, oh, they weren't improving very well. Like these guys, most of them were going out there and saying, I've been busting my ass the entire time. I just haven't been on TV yet. So that whole excuse can go out the window. I understand people get all up in their feels when they see these releases and everything. But again, it's business. It has to happen eventually. Because again, why would you just keep somebody on the roster? Think about how they feel about this whole entire thing. Yes, it sucks that they get released. And I know they probably feel it too. They probably hate the fact that they get released. But at that point, it's better if you truly want to go out there and wrestle, you don't want to just be sitting there to be paid. That's it. You want to be out in the ring and doing what you want to do. And that's what's the best thing about all these people that got released. As much as they, it sucks that they got released, it's a good thing they got released because now they can go out there and do what they want to do. They want to wrestle. They can go out there and wrestle. They get a chance to revamp themselves and show everybody and even WWE, hey, you let me go. Guess what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to better myself. And then again, it's not like they will not, like WWE will not look at them again at that point. Any options possible. If Strowman can come back after getting released the first time, like it can happen. He could literally come back a third time. But again, for those people that got released twice, like Dakota and Braun Strowman, do you really want to come back? Do you want to come back and take the chance of getting released a third time? Because at that point, I don't give them that option at that point. So I go out and I do what I do best, and that's go wrestle wherever else at that point. But yes, releases sucked. It does suck to see that again with divisions that you just introduced and getting depleted. And now you're doing, and then you let a lot of people go before they even got a chance to do anything. It sucks, but it's business. It has to happen. And, it's not like they can't come back.
So, Jordan, before I let you go, since Braun Strowman was the most shocking to you and being a second time release, you don't see him, coming back obviously for a third. Where do you see him ending up? Does he go somewhere with his bad knees? Do you see him maybe, hanging him up? I mean,
that's tough. Strowman's a difficult one, especially if he has bad knees. I don't know. Like, does he just say that's it? Because yes, he could go out there and he can go get surgeries and everything else and see if his knees get better. And then they take all this time that he's been doing, like while he's out, while he's sitting on the sidelines, basically, to rest his knees up, get himself prepared and everything else. But like, I don't genuinely see a place where Braun Strowman fits. Like I look at anything, like even TNA to me doesn't really feel like Braun Strowman fits. Like for me, all these people that got released, honestly, I think TNA should start looking into all of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the women's, like Casey, like Caden and Katana, there's your women's, you have Knockouts tag team titles. There's your place for them. These other women here can just, TNA has done an amazing job at building women up that come in. Like I'll take a prime example. Ash by Elegance. As much as I'm not a big fan of the woman, TNA's done a fantastic job with her. Hands down. Yeah. So Dakota, I think, would kill it in TNA. The Knockouts division would be fantastic for her. Cora would be a good spot. That would be a great spot for her. Shayna would be a great spot for her. Imagine her just going there and going through a tear there. It's TNA is my main suggestion for these people to just keep their eyes on, and TNA should have their eyes on them because that would increase their Knockouts division. It would increase their men's division. everything. Their knockouts, tag division, everything. I think these people should mainly focus on TNA. Do not focus on AEW, because by the time you focus on AEW, you'll come in, you'll be there for like 2 weeks, you'll be sitting on the sidelines wondering what's next. At some point, you might get floated down to ROH, and I don't think you want to go down to ROH whatsoever. So TNA, my main thing is just focus on these people.
Yeah. Jordan, what you got?
Yeah, it was a shock to me too. Like Justin said, some of these people had wasn't being used, but like Braun Strowman, that was one of the things, and like he said, TNA probably can use some of these people. So AEW not, because AEW is ass. So. So they won't be able to wrestle.
Well, it's good to see you gave us a bit of a spoiler for our next topic in a second, that's all good. But yeah, I mean, there are some names that were very, very shocking on here. Braun Strowman, easily the shocking one for it, but as Bakley says, he has 15% paralysis in his legs. Also does a shit ton of endorsements, so he'll be fine if he doesn't wrestle anymore, which, he does have a lot of endorsements. And he also said Andy, she just got started in TNA and already doing well. I think she won a title for another indie promotion that she did work for as well. And he also said, let Shayna loose in GCW, which I would love to see Shayna Baszler go to GCW and just do a bunch of work over there. But I think AEW should be your last resort, because you'll go in there, you'll be their brand new toy for a couple of weeks. You'll have Crackhead Khan showboating you for weeks at a time, and then you'll be sent down to Ring of Honor and you'll be fighting, I don't know, fucking Dustin Rhodes or whatever. I mean, or you'll be losing to Athena so she can keep her million-day reign as women's champion. So, I mean, I kind of feel like AEW should be the last resort for any of these releases. I mean, looking at the list of releases, I don't see AEW being a fit for any of these. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at Gallus, I mean, guys who they wrestled in Evolve and then got released. I mean, they got sent to the developmental. Same thing with Nikita Lyons. She got sent there as well. But the main thing that bothers me about all these releases is not so much that they got released. I mean, yes, it sucks. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does suck. You're sitting on the sidelines forever and then you get released and whatnot. But the main thing that gets me is the internet, and it's the people on the internet, because they see people like Dakota, Braun, Shane, Akora, whatever, and they say, oh, it should have been so-and-so. Like, you're praying for someone else to lose their job. And I think that's the most shitty of a human being thing that you can do. Is say, oh, it should have been Logan Paul. It should have been Nikita Lyons. It should have been this. It should have been that. And I think that's ridiculous. But it doesn't surprise me. The IWC has always been known to be shitty people, and the good ones are the ones that never put anything, because they don't feel like getting anything thrown at them the moment they say something. It's almost like they're scared to say something on the internet, because they know that the people who support a certain company or think they're always correct about everything are gonna just unleash on them. And I think it's ridiculous. That's why I don't really post much on Twitter about wrestling, because I know there's diehards out there that'll probably just come after me every time I say something about anything. So that's why I kind of keep shut about it. But I mean, it sucks. I mean, it does suck, that a lot of these got released. I mean, Caden and Katana, were basically built from the ground up at NXT. They really didn't get their chance on the main roster. They were one of those homegrown NXT tag teams that really never got their big break. And I think TNA is the prime destination for them to be knockout tag team champions. Someone like Dakota Kai, I feel like can shine over there if she can stay healthy. Same with Cora Jade. Like I said, Shayna Baszler, I think GCW or some sort of other indie promotion, I think would be very good for her. Or I know that her friend Marina Shafir is in AEW. They talked about possibly adding her to the Death Riders. She was so big in NXT. I feel like they dropped the ball on her so much on the main roster. She never got her chance there, and that sucks. They put her in tag teams with with Zoe Stark and them and whatnot. I think that they just really dropped the ball on Shayna Baszler. She did so well in NXT, but I mean, really, like I said, looking at this list, I don't see no one really going to AEW. I mean, someone will go to AEW from here, but
I
they're going to
think
be.
Gallus, honestly, will.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, Gallus is probably the biggest name I see going there, but it's just they got to use them properly. I mean, that roster is so big, and I feel like there's not enough TV time to really use everybody. So that's what really gets me.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It's difficult because honestly, like I said, they come off as the only team and the only like people that I could see on this entire release list going to AEW because Gallus is a fantastic tag team. Like, how many times were a lot of people talking about that Gallus is one of the best tag teams in the world today? Well, clearly, if they want to go back over there and prove it, that's the place for them to go. Because like I can't see them. Like maybe they'd fit well in TNA, honestly, as well. Like I would hope to God they would, because honestly, I think them in TNA would be a great thing. If the Good Brothers have all the freaking possibilities, like when they went over there to TNA, Gallus over there would kill it. So I hopefully they don't just go, oh, because we want to go back and try to prove ourselves as the best tag team and we want to be in there with the other teams that are up there in that same exact rank. And then they'll probably go to AEW for that. But I hope they don't. I hope they just completely, like, again, I hope this entire list is something TNA just looks at and picks all these people up, as many people as they could.
Yeah, I mean, because Bakley also mentioned New Japan, same thing that Brie Peace. My fucking dog is barking like crazy. But that Brie Priestley, went to, formerly Blair Davenport. I mean, she just went to New Japan. It'd be cool to see Gallus maybe, dip their toes in New Japan as well. Maybe a few others from this list, maybe, go to New Japan. I know a lot would maybe ITNA would. Maybe doing some indie dates. I know that Matt Cardona was a big advocate for a lot of these people who got released, saying it's not the end of the world because look what he did. I mean, he got released and he became the indie god, basically, doing work here and there. Showed up in AEW, did work there, TNA as well. So, I mean, it's not the end of the road for all these people that got released because there will be someone calling their name. I know Dakota Kai is one of the top names they said from this list that are getting a lot of interest whenever it does happen for her. So, it'll be pretty cool. I mean, but switching gears, I would like to let Jordan kick this one off because he gave a comment about AEW. So I would let Jordan kind of kick off. And that picture, John Moxley fucking kills me. What an idiot with that briefcase. And Jordan, go ahead with this one, man. What is your current status on the state of AEW right now? Like I said, I don't watch. I don't have much to offer. I will offer something on it, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, like every week it's like not a great show, Bear. And then with John Moxley in the briefcase, I don't even get it. Like this, hopefully he loses it soon, and it comes out the briefcase because it's ridiculous how AEW is going right now.
I mean,
what you got, Justin?
I mean, like, I do really like AEW. I'm happy that they're around. It's been 5+ years already they've been here, and I love wrestling. I love pro wrestling, and I'm just happy that there's more to it. Like AEW being around is great, but you can see that they are on a very, very, very bad decline right now. And I mean that like really bad. Like they went from early stages, like the first few years of this company, they were in the millions of viewers every single week. Now look where we are now. We went from these big like arenas for holding tens of thousands of people and getting 1 million viewers to 600,000 to 500,000 a week, and then basically these 2,000 seaters, like places like small venues. It's It's crazy. And you can see, because of the fact that it feels like, I've seen people say this before, and I do kind of agree with it, that AEW really feels like it's diverged from the path that it was on. The path was to be an alternative. Basically, when you've seen AEW, they wanted to be an alternative, but now they don't feel like they're trying to be an alternative. They feel like they're trying to be like, I honestly like they're trying to be an on-screen, like a televised indie company. And it's so weird, like, to look at, because like again, this whole Death Rider stuff is some of the worst stuff right now, because it just feels like they genuinely, like, for like 1 week will give us something to be like, oh, cool, that's something to talk about right there. And after that, it's just nothing. It's the same old Death Riders nonsense every single week of they come out, they beat up their opponents, they stand tall, Death Riders attack somebody else. Like, it genuinely feels like, how many times were all of us talking about who's going to come in for the Death Riders? Shane McMahon. It almost felt like, since that never happened, it almost felt like the story just stopped. But yet they're still trying to throw it out there on screen and trying to make you care about it. And it's not something to care about, because no one knows the genuine purpose of what they're doing. They literally, like, right now, look at the state of that story right now, where it's at right now. The Young Bucks helping the Death Riders. The Young Bucks literally just got chased off television and left AEW because of the Death Riders. But now they're here helping the Death Riders? That makes no sense. Genuinely nothing. And that's another issue with AEW as a whole, because of the fact that when they tell a story, it makes no sense. When they tell a story, it's not exciting. It's either that or they're just not telling anything. They're not doing anything, because the main focus now for AEW has just basically become great pro wrestling. They literally say it all the time. This is where the best wrestle. This is where the best wrestle. Well, that's basically what your focus has become, because you just want to see how many people, fantastic wrestlers, you can put on TV and fill a show every week. And that's not good. You don't have you lost all sense of what what you wanted to do with this company, and now it's just out there. It's just there to exist. And I look at it and just go, you need to refresh. It needs a refresh big time. Like, the Death Rider stuff needs to end, because nobody cares. But that's another issue with AEW, is they will not move on from something. Once they're in it, they don't change. There is no pivot. That's another problem. That's one of the main problems with AEW that I don't like, is the fact that, look how many, like, when Swerve just recently had that match with Moxley, that was your perfect opportunity to pivot and move on from the Death Rider stuff. But they didn't do it. They kept it on and then made it even more nonsensical by adding the Bucks to it. Now it's just a mess, and it doesn't make any sense. Mercedes Moné, honestly, listen, I've been a Sasha fan forever. I've been a Sasha fan basically since day one, when she was in NXT right now. But then I was happy when she came over to AEW. I had no issue with it. But as where she stands now, I'm not a fan. I don't like what she's doing. I think it's very bland. Yes, she just dropped the New Japan Strong Championship, but honestly, like, I know me and Bakley had this talk during, I think it was the flagship show on Saturday. We were talking about this. He's talking about, well, this is the start of her losing her championships. Honestly, I think it's just them taking the titles that she doesn't defend. It's just basically removing those titles, and it doesn't mean anything, that the fact that I still think she's winning the Owen. She's going to win the Owen, and she's going to face Toni Storm, and they're going to strap both the TBS and the Women's Championship on her. Basically, they're just taking the New Japan Strong title off, because she doesn't defend it that often. They're going to take the Rev Pro title and whatever the hell that other championship is that she has off of her, and they're going to friggin' just make her focus on AEW, and they're going to strap every championship on her right there. And that's going to be freaking even worse, because it's really done nothing for the women's division. It's not helping the women's division do anything. So basically, the two main focuses of the company, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I think, honestly, the two main focuses of the company right now are really the flaws of the company right now, because it's not benefiting anything.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not a casual at all by any means. But obviously I do see it on social media. I do follow them on social media. So I do see a lot of the stuff whenever there is a pay-per-view. If I have nothing to watch that night, I do watch it. Do I buy it? No. Do I watch it illegally? Yes. I'm not saying my source because I'm not going to have the FBI at my door. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flaws with this company, and you're looking at three right now on screen. I mean, at Moxley, Tony, and Mercedes. You know, Mercedes and these journalists or so-called dirt sheets can say all they want that she doesn't have creative control. We know she has creative control. There's a reason why she didn't go back to WWE. There's a reason why she didn't go to other promotions like TNA or anywhere else. She went to AEW because Tony Khan offered her the chance at creative control. And that's why she took a boatload of money that I'm pretty sure WWE offered her as well, but they didn't offer her the creative control, and she took it to go to AEW instead. Now, with the Death Riders, with John Moxley, that stupid fucking briefcase that he carries that has the title in it, if WWE did something like that, let's say Cody Rhodes his entire reign kept the title in a briefcase, they would lose their damn minds on the internet saying, oh my God, what a joke of a company. You're holding your most prestigious title in a briefcase. You know, it's sort of a double standard. They think it's pretty cool in AEW, but if WWE did something like that, they would have their pitchforks out, you know, they're firing pitchforks coming at you with, oh my God, that's such a terrible idea. Tony Khan, you know, he hires pretty much any new toy, showboats them for a couple weeks and sends them down to Ring of Honor or lets them be in catering. Don't show them on TV. So unless your name is, you know, Kenny Omega, John Moxley, or Will Ospreay, or Hangman and Page, Swerve Strickland, something like that, you're not getting shown on TV. Same thing, you know, like a Mercedes or a Tony Storm. That's like his two big hottest toys right now. And you know, and you could say Tony Storm has a great character. You know, WWE fumbled her or whatever. I mean, there's a time where, yeah, the character's cool and whatnot, but sometimes it's overdone. The stuff she says at her press conferences, you know, there's no reason to have that sort of language every single time you're at a press conference. We don't need to hear it, you know, every single time. You know, like you don't need to say the stuff you do every single press conference. It's overdone. So many things done in AEW are so overdone, but they feel like if they get a reaction out of it, it's going to keep getting done. And the current state of the company, you know, from what I'm not, like I said, I will say over again, I'm not a viewer. I'm not a viewer by any chance. I used to be. When the company first got started, Cody Rhodes was there. You know, CM Punk showed up over there. It was really good. And, you know, you were saying they were filling out these arenas, you know, 10, 12,000 people. And it was so electric. The crowd was unbelievable. So much fun to watch. And now they're struggling to fill up an arena of like 2,000-3,000 people. And you look at one of their biggest shows of All In happening in Texas at Globe Life, and they post that thing from that ticket page on Twitter that shows the seats that are bought, what's available, and whatnot. And all the AEW fans are in the comments are saying, they said that AEW wasn't a draw and couldn't sell tickets. Fuck, you sold 14,000 tickets in a 40,000 capacity stadium. That's not something to be proud of, because they're not selling the entire stadium, because you know damn well you cannot sell the entire stadium. It's going to be tarped off like crazy. Unless you go to a place like, you know, go to Wembley Stadium, or they're selling good tickets at the O2 in London right now, because they don't get it very often. So of course, any wrestling promotion goes over there, you're going to sell a bunch of tickets. So really and truly, you know, selling all these tickets at Globe Life, you're not even selling out half the stadium, and you think you could be proud of it. Or if you're selling out a ton of tickets at the O2, it's the same damn thing, because like I said, the people in the UK don't get this very often. So they're going to throw their money at any promotion that goes over there. So really, I don't see that as a big win. Yeah, it's good for the money. It's good for ticket sales. But really, is it that good? Because anybody else can do that. If WWE went to the O2, they're going to sell that shit out in seconds, because it's the higher promotion. It's the bigger promotion, and they're going to sell the most tickets. So, I mean, I see AEW as a big mess right now that needs to be fixed fast. I thought Shane was going to go over there whenever they he had the picture with the Young Bucks at the airport and whatnot. I thought that was a big sign that Shane McMahon was going there. And honestly, you put a McMahon on AEW television, it's going to draw a rating. It's going to get big ratings, and that's going to get you ratings for weeks to come if Shane is going to constantly appear on AEW television. And that seemed like that was just a big bluff because we haven't seen him. There's no rumors. There's no nothing. And I don't think we're ever getting that. So I thought Swerve was going to win the title, change the entire environment of AEW, to kind of get us from the Death Riders, and it hasn't happened. And it seems like the Death Riders aren't going nowhere. I don't know if Mox is going to drop the title at any point. It's just a really shitty situation over there. And you also predicted, Mercedes winning the Owen Hart Cup. She's going to win the title from Tony, she's going to carry both titles and never lose any of them. And AEW has to be stuck with Mercedes for years to come because she's never going to book herself to lose. So it's all a big mess over there that Tony Khan has unfortunately started for himself, and it's not going to get better at any point. So as a non-casual viewer, I feel like I just really went in on this promotion because it's a big mess over there that needs to be fixed, or else without Daddy's money, it's going to go under.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing keeping it going is the fact that Tony Khan has a rich dad. That's the only thing helping him, I think.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So now we go from one promotion to another, closing out. Is the big question, is TKO ruining the WWE? And I say this because before TKO took over, The Rock, TKO, and all them, it was never about sponsors. It was never about bringing in the big celebrities all the time, like Travis Scott, being a big name, bringing in, for some odd reason, having him in the main event of WrestleMania, being involved, or doing the little things like having, like I said, the sponsors in the ring, or having the Prime station in the corner by the barricades or anything like that. It was never about that. It was about listening to the fans. It was about making tickets affordable and all around having a great time in WWE. Now it's all about the money. Now it's all about the celebrities. Now it's all about what they want. It's all about what The Rock wants. The Rock was never, ever planned to even show up in the main event of WrestleMania, which I think is absolutely mind-blowing because if he wasn't needed at Mania, then why was he needed for the Chamber for John Cena to turn heel, which I got to say Cena's heel run has been awful. It's so cringeworthy, his heel run, which makes me think there's maybe a reason why Vince never turned him heel, because he knows that Cena couldn't take on a serious heel role. So that makes me wonder to y'all, Jordan, I'll let you go first. Is TKO ruining the WWE with everything they're doing right now in this company?
Yeah, I think they are, because like you said, celebrities and the ticket prices and I'm praying that the tickets are not that high for Mania for us. So
yeah, or else we're gonna be sitting our asses over here and watching instead of being over there. Which the last two times they went to New Orleans, they were pretty affordable. TKO was not in control by any means, so tickets were actually very affordable for WrestleMania. But now I am really worried because seeing the ticket price in Vegas. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's Vegas. It's a different market than New Orleans is. But I mean, if you want to sell out that Superdome, I mean, you gotta, make these things affordable.
Yeah, because if not, we don't know. Yeah, like you said, we don't be sitting over there watching it. So I think they taking it over.
Yeah. And it also, like Backlash said, it makes me kind of have the comparison to the UFC. It's like they're making it to beat the UFC, with all the sponsors and all that. It's something that I'm not used to. It's something that I talk shit on Vince McMahon a lot, but it's something that never would have went down when he was there. So what you got, Justin?
See, I feel like it's kind of a yes and a no kind of thing. Like if you look at it, like honestly, having a boatload of sponsors like that really isn't a terrible thing. Like I don't really see that as an awful thing business wise, because look what it's doing. It's bringing in more money for the company, which is fine in the long run. Like I don't really have, like, again, it is weird. It is very strange to see all these like like sponsorships and like on the mat and everything, and you'll see like the LED boards that have the sponsorships on there, and it's very bizarre because we're not used to that. We've been like accustomed to seeing a clean wrestling mat, wall barricades that don't have anything on it, and like the only time we'll ever see a sponsor is if the commentators talk about it. Like, oh, this show has been brought to you by like Skittles or something like that. It's like, okay, fine, understandable. Like, but other than that, we're not used to that. We see it now, and it's basically, yes, it is kind of like the UFC where it's just all over the place. So it's kind of like, so that really in a gist is not a terrible thing for WWE, but there is a lot of things that where you look at it and TKO does feel like it's kind of affecting it. Ticket prices are getting really, really high now. A lot of people are going to be like, can we even afford to go to these shows? Like you just said, it's going to be iffy for you guys. Like if they're going to be jacked up that high, will you guys get to go see WrestleMania, or will you be basically almost joining us for the watch along to do a kind of situation? But it's difficult. Like that's a big negative in its own right. Again, Rock has not really been a great addition to this whole thing, because as much as we've loved the Rock over the years, we look at the Rock now and what has he done? It's really affected two of the biggest stories going on at the time, and it really didn't benefit anything. Cena's heel turn, as much as I've for the most part enjoyed it, it does feel off. It still feels off because it feels, in my honest opinion, it feels out of place. It feels like it was done too late. It almost feels like they could have done this heel turn. If they were going to do it, it should have been done a different way. If Cena, they like, instead of doing it like back then when there was discussions that, you know, they were going to turn Cena heel, but Vince turned it down and wasn't going to let it happen. Well, clearly he was never going to let it happen because that's his golden boy. John Cena is basically the face of the company. Even when he's not there, he's still the face of the company. This heel turn now, as much as I've enjoyed most of it, like the promo wise and stuff like that, it still feels off when he's out there going, oh, hey, like you guys hated me. You guys didn't like me. This should have been done years ago. Any of this that's been said that involves that kind of situation should have been done years ago. It does not make sense nowadays when Cena comes out like to make big announcements and he comes back and everybody gets all excited and they love John Cena, and these people that didn't like him now have grown so much respect for him. And then here he is coming out here now, just coming out there, go, you guys don't like me. You guys never liked me. We're a toxic relationship. It's like, where'd this come from? It feels so out of place. Again, Brock has affected basically two huge stories by trying to interject himself during the Cody stuff, which again, I absolutely went off on when that shit happened. I hated every single second of that. And it almost felt like, again, why was he there? Same exact situation with this Cena heel turn. Why was he there? If he was not going to be involved, he was not going to commit to being in the story, why did you stick yourself into it? If you couldn't find the time to commit to what you wanted to tell, instead of just coming out there and, as people were saying, oh, it was just done to jack up, you know, like more sales for Elimination Chamber. If that was the case, you should just left it as is. You could have done everything else and it wouldn't have mattered. Rock's addition to everything so far has literally been nothing. Yes, did it make WrestleMania 40 better when he was involved? Yes, honestly. I think it already would have been absolutely bonkers to begin with, because we would have probably got the same exact, you know, bloodline rules, all pure chaos and everything else, and it would have been fantastic anyway. Rock nowadays does not feel like he's added anything because he just feels like he ruined stuff. He keeps feeling like he's the problem. So, yeah, and again, he's on the board. That's another issue. Like it almost feels like, again, because he's on the board, he gets to do whatever he wants. He can interject himself whenever he pleases, and that's a problem, because he really doesn't add anything to anything. So I think TKO as a whole has basically kind of helped WWE in a way. It's, you know, it's gotten them more money. People are still, you know, it's still a hot product right now. People are coming in and they're still wanting to see the shows, but there's a lot of negatives still right now, because you're also not really drawing a lot of people in, because you're kind of keeping them out because they can't afford to go to the shows. You're really kind of ruining a lot of the storylines that you're doing by having certain people interject themselves. So it is kind of like a 50-50. It's kind of like a scale right now, and they're both just even with each other right now. So
yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as well. You know, I feel like it's kind of a yes, kind of a no type of thing, and obviously it is generating a lot more money. I think for the company, all these sponsors that are in the ring and whatnot. It is kind of something that does take your eyes off the product that's actually happening in the ring. It's kind of hard to focus on a match whenever the barricade LED board has a bright yellow Slim Jim logo on it during the entire match. But I can understand why they do it. You know, it's all about the money nowadays. You know, like I said, it's not so much about what we want. It's not so much about our enjoyment from the company. Since TKO got there, I feel like it's been all about the money, and that's for the ticket prices, that's for the sponsorships, that's for teaming up with Logan Paul for Prime and whatnot, and the same thing with The Rock with his interview after WrestleMania, why he wasn't there. It's because he only showed up because it was to boost the ticket sales, and that's all they really care about. That shows you right there that that's all they care about in TKO is bringing revenue to the WWE and to the TKO brand. So that makes you wonder, you know, do they really care what we think? Do they really care that, you know, guys like us come on here and complain about them 24/7? No, they don't care at all. They care about what they bring in. They care about the money they bring in, and that's all it's going to be. And it doesn't matter. They don't care about the little kids that are in attendance to seeing their first ever wrestling show, seeing the enjoyment they get, out of it and whatnot. They don't care about the people who have attended fucking 20 straight WrestleManias and whatnot. They don't care about that. As long as they're buying the tickets to go over there, that's all it matters with TKO to me. So are they ruining it by any means? Like I said, I'm at 50-50 right now because I mean they're not ruining it for themselves. They're ruining it for us. I mean, they're ruining for the fans that legit care about this company. They're ruining it for the ones that, you know, really want to get into this promotion and want to go to an event. But yeah, these ticket prices are crazy, you know, expensive to go to this event. So, I can't go and actually experience what it is to be at a live show. Because we just went to a SmackDown event. It was like a week or two before Elimination Chamber. And for 3 tickets, kind of high up it was up there. I mean, it was pretty up there for the prices. And that all goes to show, you know, what TKO is bringing to WWE. It's just high ticket prices, not caring what we think about it. It's just all about the money. So for them, it's not so much of them ruining it. They're ruining it for us. And that's why we have to even come on here and talk about something like this, because if we feel like it's being ruined for us, then right there, that speaks all the truth that we need to say. And it's just unfortunate. I mean, it is unfortunate, you know, because with Vince, it was never about the big bright LED boards that showed sponsors here and there. The turnbuckle pads having every sponsor, or it being like a boxing ring having sponsors, you know, all plastered throughout the ring mat. It's all about sponsors, you know, and that's a sad part, like I said at the beginning, is that it takes our eyes off of what's actually going on inside the ring. It takes our eyes off of the good stuff happening in the ring because we're so focused on the multiple sponsors that are in the ring itself, and that's all plastered on LED boards. That's all big and bright for us to kind of, you know, be distracted by. So I mean, am I going to give it a chance with all these sponsors and maybe the product? It's not so much the product; it's their display of the product. That am I going to lose hope yet? No, but am I going to keep watching? Of course I will. But that's the thing, is that it's got to get better. You know, the higher ups, TKO, The Rock, they have to listen to fans like us and actually, you know, start listening and actually, you know, the things got to start changing, because if not, you know, they're going to lose viewers if that happens. But that's not what matters, because if we stop tuning in, then millions are going to keep tuning in on Netflix and on USA and on Peacock for PLEs. So it's not like us not tuning in is really going to make a difference, because they're still going to generate the revenue that they want.
True.
So are they ruining it for themselves? No. They're ruining for us? Good chance. So... But before we get out of here, you want to add anything to any of the topics that we presented, or you already got there?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Before we close out, there was a question, Justin, that came in for you. I want to bring you back
I
up.
see this. Hey guys, question: what if Brian Pillman from '97 was in AEW in his prime? What female would you pair him with? My choice would be Mariah May. Honestly, I wouldn't hate that Mariah May pick. Kind of like that idea because of the way she can just kind of flip her switch as well. You put her with, Brian Pillman, who as soon as he starts flipping his switch, oh my God, that's a scary combo.
Yeah. Speaking of Mariah May, before we got out of here, you think she goes to WWE? She did say it was her dream to go there, but does Tony Khan throw an ass load of money at her? That's the thing.
Yeah, and it all
She
depends.
deserves a last load of money. That's the thing. She deserves it.
It all just depends on if she feels like if she's like Jade. Because when literally Tony Khan did the same thing with Jade, threw as much money at her as possible to keep her, and she even said no. If that's the case, like it's all going to come down if Tony's money's enough and it'll keep her, or she really is going to pull like the Stephanie Vauquer situation and just go, it's my dream. I want to go there, and that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, I could really see her ending up there. I mean, the same thing with Jaden. You could throw as much money as you want. It's her dream. She wants to go there. Honestly, there has to be a time where you just let it be and let her go live her dream instead of trying to nail her down with all a bunch of money.
Exactly. No tribalism involved in this whole situation, everybody.
Right. Yeah. But no, that'll do it for this episode of the World Elite Podcast. Justin, we want to thank you for coming back on the show. It has been far too long, but we got to make this happen again very soon, rather than being too long again.
No, please do.
But before we let you out of here, man, let them know where they can find you at social media. Tell us all about Circle of Debate, even though anyone watching should know about Circle of Debate. But for the people who don't know.
Yes. Well, again, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, it has been far too long, and I always love coming on your guys' show. So, again, I hope I get to come back again. To everybody that you want to find me, social media is at JustinTime211 on X, at just_in_time211 on Instagram and Facebook as well. Circle of Debate. You can find that on basically every social media platform. YouTube is where we would love to see it come to, because we do watch-alongs, we do like a podcast like kind of show with where it's just basically now topics instead of a full-on recap and everything else, which I love that we do that now at the flagship show. But again, we want y'all to come on the ride with us over on Circle of Debate, whether it's YouTube, especially. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to that mark. And basically, that's the place where we want you all to be with, because we love you for coming over and showing us the support and coming along for the ride with us, because we want to see as many wrestling fans as possible over there. We got these guys here. They come over here on the show once in a while. Like it's like, again, we got to get you guys back on the show again as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like basically, Circle of Debate, come follow us. Again, we'll be going live in just a little while for the Raw watch along. So make sure you come on over there, hang out, subscribe, do everything that you want to. And again, I appreciate you guys for coming on. Let me come on here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We would love to, join you guys one day, whether it's a watch along, your flagship show. We would love to come on for sure. Jordan, where can we find you at, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Jordan_J2000.
That's right. You can find me at Dylan Aber _ the podcast at World Elite Pod, Instagram at World Elite Pod. You can find all our live streams on Facebook and YouTube. I was told that Facebook was given some issues by a few family members, so I'll have to investigate what's going on there. But Facebook and YouTube is where you can find our live streams at. The audio versions can be found on all major audio platforms. This episode will be up probably tomorrow morning. I am off tomorrow as well, so I'll probably get it up sometime in the morning. So for people that don't feel like looking at us, you can just listen to us, and we will appreciate whatever you feel like doing for the show. All the sponsorships and the affiliates can be found in the description of the Facebook and the YouTube video. Too many to name. I'll probably start forgetting all the codes and how much you can save and whatnot. So I feel like it just pays not to save. It just pays to save yourself, the embarrassment of saying all the wrong stuff as far as all that goes. But yeah, go check them out. Go show them your support. As far as WWE shop, 80s tees, and whatever else we got in there. Go check them out and support the product as well. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. We will be back next Monday, whether if we have a guest, whether it's just Jordan and I. We do appreciate if you guys come hang out with us on Facebook, YouTube. YouTube is where we'd like to have you at, but if you check us out on Facebook as well, it doesn't matter. We still appreciate the support nonetheless. So we will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Facebook, YouTube at 5 p.m. Central. And hope everyone has a good day. Enjoy Raw and have a great week.
Peace.